The two witnesses do not breathe literal fire. And I can prove it from the mouth of the Messiah himself. Matthew chapter 12, verse 39, Yahusha said, "An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah." No sign, except Jonah. Death, burial, and resurrection. That is the only sign. If the two witnesses performed literal physical miracles, fire from heaven, stopping rain, turning water to blood, those would be signs. And that would contradict what the Messiah declared. So what are the powers? Scripture tells you every single one is defined in the text. You just have to look. Revelation chapter 11, verse 5. If any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. Fire from their mouth. Sounds dramatic. Sounds literal. But open Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. The fire is the word. It always was. The word of Yahuwah in the mouth of his witnesses consumes everything false. It devours lies. It burns through tradition. It reduces false doctrine to ashes. The Torah and the prophets have been doing this for thousands of years. That is the fire. Not a man breathing flames on a street corner. The word of Yahuwah consuming every system that stands against it. Revelation chapter 11, verse 6. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. No rain. Sounds like Elijah. But what is rain in Scripture? Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew. Rain is doctrine. Rain is the word. When the rain stops, the word stops. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Master Yahuwah, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahuwah. A famine of hearing the word. That is what no rain looks like. The witnesses have the authority to withhold the testimony from those who reject it. When truth is rejected, Yahuwah withdraws it. Romans chapter 1, 3 times he gave them over. Verse 24, gave them up to uncleanness. Verse 26, gave them up to vile affections. Verse 28, gave them over to a reprobate mind. That is the rain stopping. He stops striving. He withdraws the word. And the people do not even know it happened. They think everything is fine, but the rain stopped and they cannot see it. Same verse, Revelation 11, verse 6. And have power over waters to turn them to blood. Waters to blood. Sounds like Moses in Egypt. But what are waters in Revelation? Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. The waters which thou sawest are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Waters are peoples, nations. So what does it mean when the witnesses turn waters to blood? The witnesses speak truth. The truth torments the nations. Revelation 11, verse 10 says it plainly. These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. The testimony is the torment. And how do the nations respond to being tormented by truth? They shed blood. They kill the witnesses. Revelation 11, verse 7. The beast shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. The waters turn to blood, because the nations become bloodthirsty in response to the truth. The Crusades, the Inquisition, the pogroms, the Waldensian massacres, the Hussite wars. The nations turned to blood because the testimony provoked them to violence. The witnesses did not curse the nations. The word exposed what was already inside them. The blood was always there. The testimony just brought it to the surface. Yahusha said the same thing. John chapter 3, verse 19. Light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. The light does not create the evil. It exposes it, and the evil responds with violence. That is waters turning to blood. Now watch what happens in the bowls of wrath. Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. The second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man. The sea, not the waters, the sea. The sea in Scripture is the abyss, the realm of the dead, the deep, Genesis 1, verse 2. The deep. Jonah called it the belly of Sheol. Revelation 20:13 says the sea gave up the dead which were in it. The beast system is the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, not fresh blood from violence. Dead man's blood, cold, stagnant, lifeless, no spiritual life remaining. The system is a graveyard. Then verse 4. The third angel poured out on the rivers and fountains of waters, the sources, the streams of doctrine, the teachings flowing out of the system. Those turn to blood too. And then verse 5 and 6 give you the reason. They have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. The witnesses testified in chapter 11. The nations shed their blood. Then in chapter 16, Yahuwah repays the nations with blood to drink. Chapter 11 is the cause. Chapter 16 is the consequence. Last power, Revelation 11 verse 6, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. The plagues of Egypt were not random disasters. Every plague targeted a specific false god that Egypt worshipped. The Nile turned to blood. Happy, the river god, judged. Darkness covered the land. Ra, the sun god, judged. The firstborn died. Pharaoh himself, who claimed to be a god, judged. The witnesses bring the same judgment, not physical frogs and locusts. Spiritual exposure of every false system. Sunday worship exposed as the changed Sabbath. Christmas and Easter exposed as pagan. The Trinity exposed as unscriptural. Eternal torment exposed as Greek philosophy. These are the plagues. The word of Yahuwah striking every false god in the modern Egypt until nothing is left standing. 4 powers, all symbolic, all defined by scripture itself. Fire from the mouth is the word. No rain is the withdrawal of doctrine. Waters to blood is the nations becoming bloodthirsty when truth exposes them. Plagues are judgments on false gods. The 2 witnesses are not 2 men performing circus tricks in Jerusalem. They are the Torah and the testimony. And their power is the word of Yahuwah. It has been consuming false doctrine for thousands of years, and it is not finished yet.